Hi, friends. Welcome to the Full Heart Podcast. This is a solo episode where we are going to explore the idea of love being more powerful than hate. And I have a question for you to ponder. How do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life filtered through hate or filtered through love? And what does that actually look like? As you know, this first season is a lot about success, and I'm asking questions about success and what does that look like and how do people get there? And so when I think about the idea of love and hate, it just seems very tied in to the idea of success to me. And I have a lot of thoughts and theories about this, but for right now, the main thing I'm going to discuss is Bad Bunny's quote from his Grammy speech, which also spilled over into the billboard behind him on his Super Bowl performance, which I loved. And so when I was watching the Grammys and I heard his speech, his English speech, there was something he said that just felt so important to me to amplify. And I've been thinking about it this past week. And after his performance last night, I realized that it's time to just really amplify this message, given everything that's happening in the world, especially what's happening in America or in the United States. It feels important to really amplify the message of love. So let me also just really talk about what I want to do inside of this episode in this podcast. I want this podcast to build a community of people who choose love, to truly deeply love yourself so much that you feel empowered to show up as your truest, brightest, most creative, sparkly self. In order for you to really be successful and in order for you to really live this beautiful life, you have to love yourself so much that you are just enamored by your uniqueness and your weirdness. And so you show up in that space and you show up as that version of yourself. And I want to give me the courage to do the same, because when I close my eyes and I dream of my future, I see myself using my voice and my words inside of a book, potentially on stages, but I'm still so scared. I let that fear take over. I let I let the fear of hatred take over, and it takes over. But when I step into the love for myself, that's what starts to switch the energy for me. My body still kind of freaks out. That's why I didn't do 2 weeks of solo episodes, because I was having panic attacks. But I know my mission is to love. My mission is to share love. My mission is to see how to transmute suffering into grace. My mission is to see how to release the oppression of the fear in the mind and embrace the wisdom of the grace in the heart, and to share those observations and to share the beliefs that have come from what I've learned about this. And I love myself enough to move through the fear and to show up in this message, because I've started to really understand my uniqueness, and all the things that I thought were horrible about me are actually really beautiful and are actually things that make me unique and are part of my mission of being here. And that's why hearing Bad Bunny in his speech just reminded me so much of the power of love, and it gave me the courage to really talk more about this. Now, understand that I have been doing a ton of research on my own, just right here within arm's reach. I have multiple books: Love by Leo Biscaglia, All About Love by Bell Hooks, Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and the Bible. So I've been doing a lot of research lately on love, and also matriarchy, patriarchy, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming, but I've been too scared to share my my curiosities. And so this is my first step into doing so. And in this first step, we are going to talk a little more about Bad Bunny's message, because he said it so eloquently in his Grammy speech. If you didn't watch it, go look it up, because it's great. He gave one in English and one in Spanish. But in his English speech, he did say, "The hate gets more powerful with more hate." And that is so true. And all of this, you can see it play out on a collective level and on an individual level. When we look at the collective level and how much is being spewed, which will be another episode, it just seems to amplify. But when we can step in and make the choice to love instead, it just really switches gears on so much. And then when you think about this from an individual perspective, like I just shared that I get so scared. And so the fear and hate, I feel like are so similar. And when I'm stuck in fear, I am I'm hating myself, honestly. And so when I choose to love myself and I see myself through the filter of love, then it gives me the courage to step up and to do what I'm meant to do here. And he also says, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people. We love our family. And that's the way to do it, with love. And again, on a collective level and on an individual level, that's so huge to choose love. And when he was doing his Super Bowl performance, he had a billboard behind him that said, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. And so he's really amplifying this message. He also talked about how the only reason he's there at the Super Bowl is because he believed in himself so much, and that you should believe in yourself that much too. And I just think that's such a beautiful message. And so all of this talking about love goes directly with the Full Heart mission. It's directly linked to why I started Full Heart and everything that I've done inside of the umbrella of Full Heart. And it's directly linked to my own personal life mission to just share love in this world. And of course, his words really related to Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, which I thought was so important. So again, Bad Bunny says, "And the only thing that is more powerful than hate is love." And you might recall Martin Luther King Jr. has said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And it really makes me think about the energy of hate and love and the visual. I love Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote so much because the adding the darkness with the hate gives such a visual, because it makes me think about being in a dark place. If your electricity goes out and it's nighttime, or if you're out camping, or like I'm currently in Pennsylvania and there's not a lot of light pollution where I am. So the dark or the night feels really dark. And so you can really think about those times when even one little pillar of light, one little flashlight can have such a huge difference in cutting through that darkness. And so that visual right there just gives such a representation of how important love is to cut through hate. And it makes me think of all the fear that I've been feeling, and reminding myself that it just takes one small light. And so me just showing up and talking about this one thing is giving me enough energy to think of other things that I want to talk about. And I seriously have like a whole book that's just kind of running through my brain, but we'll see where it goes. So sharing this just is a reminder to you and to myself that even being a small light, a trembling light, right now feels important in the history of the world. Even being a small light, even being a trembling light, will still cut through the darkness. I think about being outside in a dark night, and maybe you're starting a fire, like you're camping, you're starting a fire, you strike that first match. And even that little tiny flame that's dancing in the wind, that still cuts through the light, that still gives life. It's so important. And so when you choose the power of love, when you choose to love yourself, that's what starts to change the world. Because remember, the Full Heart mission, when you fill your heart so full of love that it overflows, that's what empowers other people to do the same, and that empowers other people from them. And that's how we heal the world, one full heart at a time. It goes directly into these messages, and it goes directly back into that first question I asked: how do you want to live your life? When you think about love and hate, the main thing in life there is either love or hate. I say fear. I feel like it's more fear than it is hate. The hate stems from the fear. Do you want to live through love, or do you want to live through fear? If I continue to choose fear, I would be in a ball not talking to anybody ever, because I'm too scared that I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to make somebody mad. I'm going to do the wrong thing. There's just so many old stories and beliefs and conditioning that it keeps me really, really quiet. But when I choose love and I see I see myself through the filter of love, it just makes me love everybody else so much more. And it makes me see the power of showing up in love and to sharing words in love and sharing message through love and how that really cuts through the noise of hate and fear in our world. So how do you want to live your life? I say let everything you do be done in love.